I'm so tired of people saying that it's just a movie, it's just a comic book, it's just a TV show. Whatever. No, it's not. Stories are the building blocks of our culture, of ourselves, even of our own psychology. We are a product of the stories we tell ourselves about our own past and the experiences on a daily basis, but also the stories that we choose to spend time with. What types of values or feelings or whatever are they promoting? What types that we like to spend our time around? They're going to shape us. They're going to shape our personality and character, and they're going to shape our perception of the world and the acts and behaviors that we put out into the world. And people don't understand that. They go, it's just a movie. It's just this. I can like and promote whatever I want. Well, of course you can, but you should pay attention to the responsibility that you have.
Consume stories responsibly.
As a member of society, as a human being, responsibility to yourself.
Consider the consequences.
You need some balance. You need some certain criteria that is going to make sure you're promoting the right kind of works, or at least have thought through the type of work that this or that story is going to do in our culture, and then make your own decision whether or not that's something you want to support.
Consume stories responsibly. Consider the consequences. Consume stories responsibly.
Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another office hour stream. Hopefully everybody's doing well, had a good week, made it through. I know it was a stressful week for me. As a college professor, it was my first week going back to teaching, and we also had a lot of winter weather and whatnot, and it was it was a good week, but it was quite a week, and I'm so happy to have my weekend. And so I took a nap, as I usually do. I get home from mass on Saturday evenings and grab a nap before the stream, and I did not want to wake up and stream tonight, but I'd already set up the stream and had to do it, and I'm glad I'm here. Glad I'm talking about what we're going to talk about tonight, and always good to hang out with you guys and stream a little bit, so happy for that. But welcome to the chat here. Let's see, we've got Ghost Planet Max Inc. 1.0 first up, as usual. Good to see you there. Studio Super, didn't think you'd be joining us tonight. Back from your fishing trip. Okay, great. Well, good to have you. Nice to see you there. Hyper Beams. I don't know if I've seen you here before. Wonder what this stream will be referring to. It's an interesting topic, and I think it's applicable to a lot of different art forms. I put writing and YouTubing because these are the two things that I do. I put art because I think a lot of people on my channel, a lot of you are artists if you're not storytellers, or you're storytellers and artists, through that medium or whatever. But I think it's applicable to any art form. So we'll get into that in a moment. Of course, my dear sweet wife, Sound Engraver here. Horizon Talker, great to see you there. Imaginative Hobbyist. I saw this Imaginative Hobbyist said, in case anyone is not aware, Walmart will stop selling physical copies of video games soon, starting next week with Xbox titles. Just video games or DVDs too? And I didn't know that about Walmart. I know, of course, Best Buy, the news that they're not going to sell any physical media. It is depressing, man. It is so depressing. I spoke a little bit last week about the importance of curating your collection, of curating a collection, when it comes to physical media, DVDs, CDs, you see behind me and whatnot. And I was waiting this week. I'm actually going to record this weekend the first episode of my podcast, Iconicast podcast, is coming back. And the first episode, one of the things it's going to have to deal with is some physical media issues. Every episode is going to have something to say about physical media because it's so important that we collect physical media. I'm just waiting on some. I need to get some art done for like a title card that I can use, over and over again. But and Studio Super, email me about that because I think you might have misunderstood me when I emailed you, Studio Super. But yeah, let me know about that. But yeah, it's so important to curate a collection if you care about it. If you like these stories, this music, whatever, it's important to curate a collection. Now, if you have the money and the space to just buy up every single piece of physical media you can, then hey, by all means, go for it. Create that museum. But most of us don't have limited space and limited finances, so we need to curate a collection that we can hand down, to our successive generations, but also just to people, who are here when we're gone, or even people who are still here with us. We can say, hey, look, this is what this movie looked like before they changed it around, because they didn't want you watching this or that scene or whatever, even for innocuous reasons. I saw a little, I think it was a Facebook short or something the other day. It said it's not the Mandela effect, and it was showing a scene from Lilo and Stitch when I forget the character's name, but Lilo's older sister is looking for her. Little Lilo's hiding from her, and she hides. She gets into a dryer and hides in there, and Lilo's older sister, gets up on the dryer and then watches her get out of the dryer, and then she nabs her. Well, Disney changed that apparently a while ago, even on DVD releases, new DVD releases because they didn't want kids, hiding in dryers. So it changed it to like a cupboard or something like that, awkwardly sitting next to a washing machine without a dryer. And it's even stuff like that. I don't want you monkeying with the movie. Don't change the story that I saw that you gave me. Writers don't even have the right to do that unless they label it as a new edition. This is a revised edition of this story or something like that. Sure, that's fine. But you don't get to do that. And of course, it's done for ideological reasons all the time. And no, absolutely not. And then the streaming services decide what they want to give you access to. And I don't care what the reason is. Well, they lost licensing to this or that or whatever. I don't care. It's really important that we still have physical media. It's so vitally important, especially if you believe in like the mission of my channel, how you need to fight for, maintaining these good stories and whatnot. So yeah, definitely, definitely important. Got me on a rant there, imaginative hobbyist. But thanks for bringing that up. Welcome, Darth Enigma. Let's see. Studio is here. Yeah, I mentioned that. Um, Utini. Final Fantasy fan. Sanio Proctor. So many great people here. Andre Hernandez. Slav. Good to see you there. Channel member. Fizzochio. Eldritch fan. Leah plus size. Stress levels. More. You probably want me to start the stream instead of just reading off names of people who are here. But I like to welcome folks. Crack open my frosty Diet Pepsi. Has anybody tried Diet Dr. Pepper recently? Sound Engraver and I were talking about this the other day because you guys know, those of you who listen to my channel for a long time, Diet Dr. Pepper, I was in a love affair with that soda. I mean, it's just I drink it all the time. It was the sweet one. It was the best diet soda out there, period. And then they suddenly changed the formula. I don't know what they did, but it just tastes like garbage. It just tastes like drinking dirt. It was disgusting. It happened, I guess, maybe a year ago or so. And it was heartbreaking to me. So I made the switch to Diet Pepsi, and I haven't dared. Every now and then I would go back. But the thing is, I think soda tastes better out of the can. It always tastes better out of the can. So, I don't want to buy a whole sleeve of Diet Dr. Pepper just to give it a chance. I tried it a couple times here and there, thinking maybe it was just a factory thing, but no. And other people have told me even in other markets it's the same. So I don't know. If any of you drinking Diet Dr. Pepper recently and say that they went back to the old good formula, let me know, because man, rip my heart out of my chest. My Diet Dr. Pepper, not my sweet one, because it's decidedly not the sweet one now. That's the thing. It was just, yeah. I'm just a rant a minute. Give me another topic, I'll rant on that. Okay, all right. Well, let's kind of get into our topic here tonight. Because I'm seeing some people have some questions about it and whatnot. First of all, let me acknowledge, obviously that title is a little, it's pithy. I wouldn't say it's clickbaity, but it's designed to kind of get your attention. But it's playing on an extreme, right? Obviously, there is some overlap between how popular you can be and the quality of your content. There's some overlap. Depends on how popular you want to be or how qualitative you want your content to be, your art. It also depends. There's a little bit of relativity in that context. What does it mean to be good? Now what I mean by saying good is I'm talking about quality art, quality writing, quality YouTubing. And the way this topic came about for me, I was telling, if you watched me for a few streams, I've been talking about how I got into the show Grimm. I don't really watch anything new anymore. I just, is there any such thing as anything, new, current that's good anymore, especially when it comes to television shows. But Grimm had been on my radar for a while. Loved the premise, the idea of it, so I wanted to check it out. And I think it started airing in 2011, I think 2011, right around there, 2011, 12, something like that. Or maybe it's 2013, actually. I don't know. Anyway, sometime around there in the teens. Went for like 6 seasons, I think. And I was talking as I was watching it, how it was so well done. I mean, quality writing. Love the premise, love how they would take the fairy tales and make their own thing out of it, and it did one thing that I really love, when it comes to series writing. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did this too. They resisted falling into the soap opera, and what I mean by that is the soap opera melodrama, it's not it doesn't serve the story. It's like the J.J. Abrams style of telling storytelling, the mystery boxes, just trying to get you to tune in to the next episode. Um, this is what Battlestar Galactica was, the remake of Battlestar Galactica. It was, for all the people who just think that show was the bestest the bomb ever, and it did have some really cool world building, great concept, wonderful, but the storytelling was just to get you to tune in next time. After 4 or 5 episodes, you realize they don't really have a plan. There's not really like the end result they give you with this piece of drama or this secret or whatever they've been kind of stringing along, wringing out tension and drama out of, for so many episodes. By the time it gets resolved, it, well, it's not the resolution isn't even really worth all the stringing along they've done. It's a soap opera. If you've ever watched like a daytime soap opera, every episode something give you a little cliffhanger here, then a cliffhanger there, and they just want you on edge, for 3 or 4. If someone's got a secret, it's not going to be resolved that episode, not even the next episode. It's going to, that's going to last all season. We're going to wring as much tension out of that as we can, that kind of soap operatic writing. And Grimm resisted it, and I've been watching it, and I still haven't finished the whole series. But recently I got to the end of season 2, and it was like a slap in the face. Suddenly, the writing of Grimm fell into soap operatic writing. It did 2 tropes, 2 incredibly overused tropes that just need to be banished from hero story writing ever. I hate these 2 tropes. They can be done well, but they're just not very often. Very rarely are these 2 tropes done well. They're usually done to wring drama out of something. One is the case of mistaken identity, right? This character masquerading as another, and it as the audience, but the other people don't know it. And don't let that happen. Oh no, oh, is someone gonna know? Oh, they're not gonna know. That kind of stupid trope. It's just it's played for cheap drama, cheap cliffhanger clicks. Wanting somebody to tune in next week. That's one, and the other one is the hero that suddenly is not a hero. Suddenly they lose their powers. That's the most asinine, ridiculous, stupid move. Yes, it can be done to some extent in a good way, but it's so rarely done. I don't even like it was done in Richard Donner's Superman 2. I don't even like it done there. I just think it's overused. And I think it's kind of like it's a writer who has no other ideas. They run out of ideas. So you got a hero who does X. Okay, so that's the whole shtick of the story. Character does X. That's why people tune into these stories. The character does X. So if it's a hero, they've got powers. They use their powers. That's it. That's what people want to watch this show for. And so you do all these things, all these cool ideas, and the writer who's run out of ideas suddenly starts up and goes, "What if the hero didn't do X?" And then all the writers around the room go, "Oh, that's so interesting. Oh, that's the one place we haven't taken the character. Oh, we can delve into that, and we can." And that's not interesting. It's a bunch of writers, thinking that they've tapped upon something great. They haven't. All they've done is figured out a way to piss off the viewers. And the sad thing is, with today's viewers, they're just dumb enough to tune in that next week to see what. Those were 2 of the tropes that suddenly Grimm fell into at the end of season 2. And then, not even just beyond those 2 tropes, it just fell into like that sort of, "Oh, now someone's got a secret. Will they tell? Oh, they almost told, but no, they didn't. No, they didn't." Or, let's get to the next episode. Get to the next episode. And because I've got the benefit of watching it, years later on a streaming platform, because I don't know if I'm going to buy the hard, copy yet, physical media this year. I don't want to make sure it's good all the way through before I buy a whole series set. I had the benefit of being able to look it up, and I looked it up, and it looked like around season or episode 6 of season 3, this nonsense stops. So I just kind of like skipped my way through the episodes. Like they're not even worth watching. I would have it on while I was doing something else. I just did not. The show did not earn my attention. The show did not earn my, loyalty anymore. Now it does look like I got past that episode, and it does look like it. I don't know for sure because I haven't watched the whole series out, but it looks like the series went back to its normal original quality. It kind of ebbed away from that. So then I'm thinking, well, why did a series with such talented writers, producers, and whatnot, this being done so well, why did it suddenly just fall into that? And I realized it was the end of season 2. Now, I didn't do the research on the numbers or the ratings or anything, but this is usually the time in a series where the producers come in and wanna shake things up, you know? Sometimes ratings slip a little bit at the end of season 2. Viewers have been around for a while. Maybe they're starting to slack off a little bit. It's about the time they wanna shake things up, and it's the Dan DiDio style of storytelling. If we're not shaking it up every 2 episodes, then, who knows? People might not be interested anymore. It's ridiculous. Basically, let's start not giving the precious audience left that we have, let's start not giving them what they want. It's a dumb move that a lot of shows do. And I really think that was what was going on, whether it was the writers or the producers, it's usually from the producers. It's kind of Band-Aid comes down. And I don't know if it was because of ratings or it was because of people just trying to, make sure they ratchet up to the next level for the next season or whatever. But it's a really dumb move. And I thought, this is do you wanna be a good storyteller? Do you wanna write good story and tell good story, or do you just want them ratings? Do you just want them ratings? Now, producers just want them ratings. As much as you might get a producer who talks about, "Oh, it's important to have, good story because that's what people will come back for and give us the ratings for." No, it's not. If given the choice, you will take the ratings over good artistic integrity any day of the week. That's what they do. That's what their job is, sadly. And I thought about our own writing, eh, every artist, every writer needs to make the decision. Do they want to have integrity as an artist? Do they want to give out quality content, or do they just want the money? Some of these, writers who are very prolific, I talk about this all the time, whether you're looking at, like, a Stephen King, um, even centuries before, the Romantics. Look at somebody like Lord Byron, who was the body of work, the amount of poems that Lord Byron wrote. He wrote some amazing ones, right? She Walks in Beauty. A lot of his poems are just like they're masterpieces for a reason, and he deserves a place in literary canon, not just because of the Byronic hero that he kind of created, and the rock star poet he was in culture. He's important for the Romantic era and all of that, but also just because he really was able to write some amazing stuff. Yet he wrote so prolifically that some of his stuff's just garbage. Uh, a lot of Stephen King's work is straight up garbage, and it's not because he can't write that well. Of course, he's capable of writing amazing classics, but when you make yourself put the work out there that frequently, when you've got a book coming out every couple months or whatever, or a story coming out or whatever the case is for the art of your choice, it doesn't have time to really undergo that purification process as it should, no matter what process you put it through. So, and that's a choice. That's the choice of somebody wanting to make the money. I know a lot of writers, who write, like freelance writers for a living, and they write for franchise books or whatever. And not every writer who does this, but I do know a lot of writers who do this, and you read some of their books, they write for genre like they write I haven't read any of the Grimm novels yet, but, Grimm will get some novels, Sleepy Hollow had some novels, Star Trek has tons of novels, um, you know, Star Wars novels, I don't know what they are today, they're probably crap because it's Disney continuity today, but, a lot of writers who would just write, they would just get these contracts, they get those due dates, and then, they're writing to make sure they eat next month, so that's not really that's their choice. They wanna be popular or at least make the money, They're not really so concerned. They've gotta choose that over quality of the content once you make it, your ability to eat or pay bills. And so, you really have to make that decision as an artist, as a writer, and as a YouTuber. I've talked about this a lot. Yeah, I've mentioned, the importance of having integrity as a YouTuber, and you can go and look at a lot of the popular channels. It's very well, it's not I don't mean to imply that anybody in the world can do it, okay? Being a popular YouTuber does require some, some luck. It certainly requires skill. You need to be able to articulate yourself well. Need to at least, be able to point the webcam at yourself, I people say, "Oh, I don't have the equipment to do a YouTube channel." Yeah, you do. If your boy Zach could have become incredibly incredible by just, like, pointing his cell phone at the comic book on his lap, then you got the equipment, okay? If you got a cell phone, you can start a channel. But you need to at least have the basic, knowledge of that, be able to articulate yourself well, be able to be a personality that people will come to, sure. And then you need some luck, right? My channel didn't really get over that hump until Doug Ernst started showing my channel around and took a little interest, and I'll be forever grateful to him for that. And then some other people as well, started mentioning me and popping me around, and that was great. It got me over that algorithm hump. But once you kinda get that, once you get that little bit of luck or whatever, all you have to do is follow the formula, and you can be a super popular YouTuber. But you need to put out content just about every day if possible, and you need to constantly cover whatever is in your niche, even if you don't care about it, even if you don't really have the interest in it. So, if I wanted to be a super mega, income YouTuber, I would have to get on here every day and talk about every little story, every little thing that Bob Iger wiped his butt with a different hand the other day. It was really interesting. We gotta talk about this, guys. I would have to do that. I would have to, just basically sell out. I would have to go watch everything and review everything that comes out. Oh, can you guys? Oh my gosh, look around. See how many reviews there are of Echo. Look how many people losing their minds. Gosh, Echo's so bad. I can't believe Echo's so bad. Where have you been? Well, have you just unable to read the signs of culture at all? What do you mean you're so shocked? That's the kind of crap you have to do because let's just face it, YouTube is now the Jerry Springer daytime talk shows of our culture. People don't watch daytime talk shows anymore. People watch YouTube channels and they love it. They love the drama. They love this is what they go to. So if you want to be popular, you just play into the drama or you play into the hey guys, we're fighting the good fight here, or whatever. And you can be popular. It's easy, but you sacrificed your artistic integrity. You've absolutely sacrificed your artistic integrity. Yes, there's room for overlay. You can do quality and get and find your audience, and that's great. And you can be very popular with your audience. I love and I think I'm very lucky to have, those of you who tune into me. I don't have anything Disney, Star Wars, or Marvel related on the thumbnail of this video, and I've got like 54 people watching now. Hey, that's great. That's great for my subscriber count. 16,000 is laughable compared to the big megaton YouTubers, but I don't sneeze at 16,000 subscribers by any means. I remember struggling through the days of 500 or whatever. This is great. So yeah, you can be popular with your audience, and I love that my audience. I love that you guys watching now. I love that you don't agree with everything I say, because you think for yourselves. But and then that's kind of, and I see that as a way of being respectful to me too. It's like you guys are not just wanting to eat some popcorn. You're actually wanting to hear something and think about it. So yeah, there's there's overlay and there's room for variation there. But I've got some super chats. Let me get to these before I just chat runs out too long and I miss them. Studio Super for 999. Thank you so much, Studio Super. Appreciate that. Says, as the saying goes, pick good over popular. Otherwise, you're picking a fad, which is a letter away from fade. Oh, nice. I like that. Fad is a letter away from fade, which is what they're designed to do. They fade away. Yeah, a good example of that. You're absolutely right. I like that fade fad thing. I'm sure maybe that's a cliche or something. I just never heard it. But one of the things that strikes me as a good illustration of that is popular music. I love still. I mean, oh man, poor Sound Engraver. Every time Sound Engraver, she's very sensitive to sound, and she doesn't like electronic sound coming from another room or whatever. But I don't take a shower unless I've got hair metal blasting. I just love listening to music, and I love that good old 80s, metal and rock and stuff like that from 70s and 80s. And I'm always blasting it. And that music, hair metal became sort of a fad. And you can tell, there are some bands that tried to jump on that bandwagon and just weren't substantive. But bands, the bands that previous decades that were really putting out good art or really just had their heart in their music, they're the ones that you still listen to decades later. Nobody listens to just little bubblegum pop that's done for the current fad, that's done for the current, whatever's popular. It doesn't stick around. And that's a good illustration of it. Are you going to just try to get the clicks? Are you just going to try and get the audience, try and get the money? Or are you going to actually do some content and be true to yourself as an artist, as a creator, as a content creator, whatever you are, whatever we're talking about? 199 for Eldridge Fan. Thank you so much, Eldridge Fan. So those ones show the hero is heroic without powers. Yeah, and that's that's the argument for the stories of the hero loses their powers, okay? I still think it's overdone. I think it's to the point now where you don't even need to show the hero losing his powers to show that they're heroic without their powers. Just put them in the scenario where their powers don't avail them. You know, you can do that without making them lose their powers. But the way it's played, the way it's often done is, oh no, they lost their powers. Will they get their powers back? You know, in Grimm, they brought another character who was also a Grimm in, which is fine. But they were trying to play it as like, so does the Grim in the show refer to him anymore? Is it gonna refer to her? Who knows, you know? And it's, more often than not, it's done for drama and clicks. But you are right. That is the way if you're gonna do that trope of making the hero lose their powers, uh, that would be what you wanna try and show is that they're heroic, that their powers don't define them, you know? So it can be done for a good reason. I think though, again, I think you can show that though even without making them lose their powers. When even a good idea when it becomes overdone, you know, as a writer, you want to avoid looking like you're writing into a cliche. That's something, you know, with prose as well. You know, you want to avoid cliche in prose. You know, you want to actually take the time and make things fresh and new and whatnot. So, just an idea. Studio Super for another super chat. Thank you so much. There said found out that my old baseball coach was in an episode of Echo. Oh wow! Found out from some family members. My response: that poor man. No man deserves to have that reputation. Yeah, I didn't even know what Echo was, I don't care, and it's sad because I mean, dearly loved all 3 seasons of Netflix Daredevil. Uh, season 3 got a little silly with trying to pretend that Karen Page is suddenly a main character of the show, she's not, and that's fine, she shouldn't be, but I love Netflix Daredevil, that was great, I even loved the Defenders tie-in with Netflix Daredevil, loved it, and, you know, that's I think that was done on purpose too. Let's try to, you know, take this character Echo, who's you know, picks off all the ticks on the oh, I said Echo, so my Amazon Echo kicked off in the background. Thought that was my wife telling me that I wasn't coming through on the audio or something. But yeah, they bring in, you know, Wilson Fisk and Daredevil, you know, to try and get people to watch it, you know, and I wouldn't watch a they could just start a straight up Daredevil show on Disney Plus. They could bring back the entire cast. They could even say they brought back the same writers from the Netflix show, and I wouldn't even remotely give it any of my attention because I know it's Disney Plus doing it now. The ones higher up are running it. Nope, hard pass. Owen Lister for 9.99. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Good to see you, Owen Lister. Said, hey, Prof, I just recently finished reading the famous Secret Wars comic, and it was epic. A better crossover than Endgame. Yeah, the original comics. I remember, did I read the entirety of the whole Secret Wars crossover and tie-ins and everything like that? Because you know when they do a crossover or event, they do the event, and then there's also the little tie-ins and whatnot. I don't think I ever read the whole thing, and that was because I grew up really following and reading DC, not necessarily Marvel. But yeah, back in the day, I remember hearing so many great things about it, you know, in the comics and whatnot. I should get into that. I should. You kind of inspired me to follow that myself, there, Owen. Luis Sanchez, thanks for the super chat. There it says, "Fun fact about ABC Studios made the Netflix Daredevil series, not Netflix. I did not know that. Did not know that. I guess that would make sense, right? Because Netflix isn't known for their great original series in general, and yet the Marvel series, you know, that they did back in the day came out so well for the most part, you know, minus Iron Fist. I still liked the first season of Iron Fist. I didn't think it was horrible, but they really didn't do the character Danny Rand his justice. The end of the season. No, it was the end of season 2 of Iron Fist. Completely missed the mark in every single way. Oh, don't get me started. Danny Rand, Iron Fist is a great character in the comics. The Heroes for Hire, him and Power Man. What's his name? Anyway, they're great. Luke Cage, Power Man. The original comics are so great. Danny Rand, you know that whole story. I'm going to kind of I don't want to ruin it for anybody. I won't ruin it. But Danny Rand makes a decision at the end of his initial arc that introduces him in the comics and whatnot, which is just masterful. His decision at the end there. Um, I don't know if he's been this in all the ways or after this or whatever, but it really made him aspirational. Yeah, I thought it was great. Good stuff. So yeah, you have to decide whether you're a writer, an artist, a content creator, and it's hard sometimes. I get it. I do get it because part of being, for a YouTube creator, for example, and I do this sometimes. I think, okay, and I don't think this is necessarily selling out. Like I said, there's a gray area between it. Like, so if I'm going to talk about a topic, and the topic is, X is the topic that I'm talking about, and I'm going to look for images for a thumbnail, about this topic. Well, if there's any kind of tie-in with Marvel or Star Wars, Disney Star Wars or whatever, if that's relative to X, then yeah, I'll probably put that on the thumbnail because that's gonna draw more attention, it's gonna draw more audience. But I'll never clickbait it or pretend I'm gonna talk about this and not that or talk about something that I really don't care about, you know? Like, I'll never cut out this little portion of Echo and put an Echo, thumbnail on it or whatever, that's dumb, who cares? Um but I think that line is easy to see as viewers. I think you can, once you start to watch things critically, as you should, and read critically and whatnot, I think it's easy to see when creators are crossing the line and just doing something for clicks. It's so easy to see when somebody made a YouTube video and they don't really have much to say about the topic. They don't really care about it. Everybody else has already made a video about the topic. They gotta respect the algorithm, so they gotta make sure that topic has been talked about with their face, and that it's easy to see when they make those videos. They're just doing it to keep that sweet revenue money coming. Uh, and I lose respect for those creators. It's not that they'll never ever say anything useful to me again, of course not, but I know now that they're not being sincere with me. I'm not really getting they're not really somebody who just turned on their webcam to get their thoughts out. They're somebody that wants to make money, and they will pretend to be something else if it can make them money. They'll pretend to be interested in something they're not really interested in. They'll pretend to care about something, and that translates to the pretending that I should care about it or whatever. It's being insincere. I don't like it. I don't like it with art. I don't like it when this or that writer tries to do this or that or tries to do I mean, you can branch out. I mean, I remember when I was getting my MFA in creative writing, I got it from a program that was created by Sina Jeter Nasman, who's a famous author. Now she's gone into like the feminist area of writing that I'm certainly not very interested in or don't follow her in. But she's also done some great stuff, and she created a wonderful program for writers to receive their MFA in. And one of the things she said is, she told us, when we were graduating, she said, you've studied how to create a story, you studied the how-to of it, but you've also studied how to be critical. And she said, you use that in terms of marketing your work. She said, always be true to yourself, but know what sells. And she talked about when she was first breaking into the market, she was doing short stories and short story publications and whatnot. But if you really wanted to get, especially like a professorship or somewhere, you need to have had a novel published. And she said that she saw historical fiction was really big, at that time. And she didn't, really have a thing for historical fiction herself just naturally. So she found an in. She found something that she was interested. She was in like she wrote Sherlock in Love. It was a novel that she wrote. It was her first novel, and she wrote to something she thought would be popular, but she did it in a way that she'd be true to herself. So I mean, yeah, there's ways to try to make yourself marketable, of course. Do that. Yeah, it reaches your audience with your actual things that you want to say and that you can be true to yourself about, but don't cross that line. And even though it might be hard to kind of explain the line, I don't think it's hard to see when it comes. I think it's pretty easy to see other people cross it. It's easy to make sure you're not crossing it as well. Studio Super, thank you for the super chat there. Said, to keep your integrity on YouTube, do not depend on YouTube to be your only source of income. Applause right there. I haven't even finished your comment. That's absolutely true. And I think that's true with anything, with the writing, with the art, whatever. If your art is your sole income, then integrity is no longer your guiding light. Income is your guiding light. If you're dependent on that to eat, then you'll do anything to eat. But to finish out your comment there, you said if you got another source, you can be free, and that's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. And that's so easy for YouTubers to get into. You can imagine, it's fun to get that first revenue check. Like I said, if I really hit YouTube hard, if it's a time if it's a period where I really have a lot to say, really making a lot of, channels or videos rather, uh, like when Kevin Smith He-Man thing first came out way back when, I got a decent little, few $100 or whatever, uh, revenue. And once you get that, I can imagine a lot of people think, "Hey, it's a whole lot easier making YouTube videos than it is going to my day job. If I really hit this up and ratchet it up, I could get more money, and then I could not do this, not do that." So you can see how sort of insidious it is to slowly become more and more dependent on it if people let themselves, and then they've just gotta do things that they're not really, it isn't true to them, you know? And, so, yeah, it's easy to become like that, I'm sure. That's why, you never depend on it. If you make any money on YouTube, great, wonderful, but let that be a bonus at the end of the month, you know? Tom Spiegel, thank you so much for the super chat, sir. That's a very generous super chat there. Said if you like someone upload if you like someone uploaded a ton of graphic like okay, let me try to read that. Oh, okay, you're trying to tell me. Okay. So if I like someone uploaded a ton of graphic audiobooks here to YouTube, graphic audiobooks. Not sure how he handles the algorithm. Maybe only a day or two from getting struck, but one of his uploads is the Secret Wars saga. I did not know that. I know a lot of stuff is available on YouTube like that, and you do wonder like that, like how are they not getting copyrighted all over the place? If you don't monetize, I don't think the computers are as aggressive after it. That I don't know. But you're right. Yeah, you wonder how these people do that. Um, Interesting though. Now, if I was gonna read it though, I like the physical media. I don't like if the only way I can read something is to read it online, I'll do that. But even then I'd print it off and read it. But thanks for telling me that. I appreciate it. Really do appreciate the super chat. Sorry it took me a second to figure out what you were saying. I had it in my mind that you were gonna try and say something else. That's why I was reading it differently. Eldritch fan for $1.99. Thank you so much. Tolkien changed the Hobbit riddle contest for Lord of the Rings. He changed the Hobbit riddle contest for Lord of the Rings? How so? What are you talking about? Are you talking about the riddle contest that was in there in the Hobbit between him and Gollum? That was changed in Lord of the Rings? How so? I'll look for your explanation in the chat there. I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying there. But since I'm looking at the chat there as well, I see Andre Hernandez tagged me there. Said Professor Geek YouTubers keep pumping out content because YouTube is their source of income. Rather than take a step back and get a normal job, they use YouTube. Yeah, and you can't trust them as a result. It's sad. You can't trust them. You have to really, unless you're one of these people who's just looking for an identity. That's right. That's right. I'm one of your army, so and so YouTuber. And YouTube is an interesting medium because I say, and I do mean that. I think YouTube is the, the modern day daytime talk shows. Like people used to watch it from the content drama. They use YouTube now, but YouTube is a little more, do I say dangerous? I mean, you're not getting something super produced. I mean, some channels are super produced and they do, really funny comedy sketches or whatever. But for the most part, like me, this is a webcam in my office. It's my regular everyday life here. You're talking to an actual person, especially when you're doing live streams. So you get to actually engage, and that can make viewers, as it should, like in this case. I mean, you guys are actually talking to me. We're having a conversation, so you actually are getting a real life engagement and conversation with somebody. But if the YouTuber starts being insincere, if they start just playing into the algorithm or just waiting for them super chats, what can I say? What can I do to get some super chats, or whatever, then it's really it's I think it's predatory. I think it's predatory because you're thinking, how many people out there, it's no different than that. Maybe this is controversial, but I'm going to say it. When a YouTuber sells out and they'll do what they need to for clicks, they'll say what they need to for clicks or for super chats or whatever. It's no difference between that and a girl on OnlyFans. There, I said it. There's no difference. There's no difference. I mean, there's difference, one's keeping their clothes on, one's not. But it's the same kind of predatory thing. You want people to feel like they're close to you, to feel like, their opinions are important to you too, and you're together. you're fighting the good fight together, and make sure you subscribe and click that bell for me, okay? You know, I mean, YouTubers are just OnlyFans. They might as well be those who sell out like that. Absolutely. All right, Elder Scrolls. The original Hobbit novel had a different ending to the riddle contest. When Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings, he changed it to hint to the rings' malevolence of. Oh, okay, 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 yeah. I mean, yeah, you can see certain things that if you just read The Hobbit, you can tell that the universe, his mythology wasn't as fleshed out as it was when he later wrote Lord of the Rings. Yeah, yeah, there are little things like that. Thanks for clarifying that for me. That's an instance when changing the story was an improvement. Yeah, but I would say too, yeah, you're right, and I would say too, though, that that change wasn't so much a, you know, 180-degree change. He was just kind of, like the elves. When you read The Hobbit, the elves are not the elves of the Lord of the Rings by any means. They're almost like more little playful, little chittering elves. We talked about that when we did the Hobbit book study, as opposed to the Lord of the Rings book study. So yeah, there are some things that he developed and deepened, which is a good thing, like as you said. Yeah. Spike Girl says you're basically calling them whores. I mean, I didn't say that, but and again, I'm being very careful. I'm not mentioning names here, and I don't even think that a lot of these channels that do this, it's not necessarily that they do it all the time, but it's, as a viewer, if someone's been insincere with you once, how can you trust them the next time? And I'm not saying you can't trust them again. You can, but it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope, and I think it's somebody that whether you're a writer, an artist, a YouTube creator, or whatever, you should be cognizant of. Definitely. Let's see. Let me go back and see where some people might have chimed in on some of the comments a little bit. Leia Plus says the Barbie movie proved just what jokes some of these YouTubes were telling everybody. Stay away from that Marvel, but see the Barbie movie, guys. Actually, the Barbie movie, that was unintentionally based. Oh my gosh, really, really. I lost respect for a lot of people saying that. Believe it or not, I haven't listened to Michael Knowles since he jumped on the Barbie bandwagon. I just can't. And he's still a very smart person. I'm sure he said a lot of things that I would appreciate since then, but I just can't take him seriously after that. Yeah. Off topic, Slav says, thank you, Slav, for being that super friend channel member. Off topic, but I just watched Scooby-Doo Abracadabra Doo. It was, yeah, that is a great one. Great one. I'll read the rest of your comment in a second. But Sound Engraver saw me watching that the other day, or what was it, last year or something like that. My daughter and I were watching that. You're right. Written by Paul Dini and Alan Burnett, leagues above other Scooby-Doo movies. It's also written by his wife, I think. His wife co-wrote it with him, or did the story with him, and he did the screenplay. His wife, who's the Zatanna, basically, he's basically married to Zatanna, uh, Paul Dini. She's a magician, and yeah, it was great. It was light, yeah, leagues above the other Scooby Doo movies I've seen. Yeah, definitely. It's fun. It's got a little arc where Velma has a younger sister who's got a little crush on Shaggy. Really well done. It's a really good movie. I agree. 100% agree. Yeah, they are cool. So the two of them together. I remember showing um I was talking to Fan Man about him. And Paul Dini, he's sort of a chubby guy. Um, he's not like I mean, I wouldn't know. I'm a straight guy. I don't know if he's good looking or not, but he doesn't have the Brad Pitt like cut or whatever. And there was a funny picture that he posted one time. He went as Fred Flintstone as for Halloween. It was funny, and I was showing Fan Man. I was like, oh, because we're both such admirers of Paul Dini. He's a great writer. And I showed Fan Man because Fan Man didn't know he was married to, and I showed him, oh, he's married to. He's basically married to Zatanna, and I showed a picture of him, in her magician like fishnet wear, looking like Zatanna. He's like, that bastard. Oh, that was a funny reaction. Not that I care anymore because I'm married to the wow sound engraver. I'll just leave it at that. um, oh, Lister, thank you so much for the super chat there. Really appreciate that. Said more and more this year, I plan on staying away from the clickbait anti-woke crowd. I'm still anti-woke. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's worse now that a lot of those channels are using AI images. Cringe. Yeah, I'm I'm trying to focus more on my art. I didn't know about the AI images. That is really that's problematic. I just don't like AI images, especially if they're passing them off as something that should be they should get credit for in any kind of way. Plus, AI is infringing on a lot of other artists' copyrights. I think because AI goes and sees what's basically done, in other art, it creates its own thing. I think there are uses for AI is you as a writer are trying to like flesh out the look of your universe just for your own sake, as a writer or something, but you don't put it out there. I just definitely disagree with that. But yeah, I agree. Like we're very much against the woke and against the ideologies and whatnot, but the anti woke has kind of become its own little woke, in a lot of ways. Andre Hernandez for $5. Young kids would rather become YouTubers or influencers because it seems better than working a normal Walmart job dealing with mean customers. Yeah. Although I don't know. If you actually deal with comments and deal with feedback, I don't. I just block people left and right. If like I said, I run my YouTube channel like it's my hobby. So this is my living room or my little office. You're coming in here and hanging out with me, and people who leave comments, "Meh, meh, 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 meh." It's like click, delete, hide from channel, whatever. You're not somebody I want to hang out with. But if you use your channel to make money, then you can't afford to block people left and right like I do. So you got to dig in there and deal with it, or whatever, or just ignore it or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, but yeah, that's the but an influencer, I think appeals to the two of them because they're one of the cool kids, that kind of thing. But good comment there, appreciate that. Studio Super, thank you for the super chat there. Said the Barbie movie will forever remain a mystery to me. How it fooled so many on our side. I mean, just looking at the headlines, we knew what they were doing. Absolutely. I mean, the creators of that movie said, "This is what we're doing." Everything about that movie screamed, "This is what they're doing." And I don't know how it became the cool thing to do to give the Barbie movie a pass. I know a few of the popular, YouTubers got on that bandwagon, and then just other people did too. But I think part of it is because it was the Barbie franchise, it wasn't really anything that we cared about, and then Margot Robbie, it sounds really pathetic, but if you get an attractive woman, they can go too far. They can get on the geek's bad side too, but a geek is gonna give a attractive woman a pass, in some kind of way. I think that had something to do with it on some level. I don't know. And it's ridiculous to me because, Margot Robbie, she's the wokest of the woke. I mean, yeah, anyway. Um, Dr. Y, thank you for the super chat. Said I was ghost listening, but when you mentioned Abracadabra Do, I had to chime in. My brother has an extensive collection of the Scooby-Doo animated movies. I do too, actually. Maybe not as good as your brother does there, but yeah, I've got. I try to buy up just about collecting physical media. I love the movies, even the Scooby-Doo movies that are kind of are still pretty good. No, not the new stuff. Um, I think one of the what was I forgot what it was called, the one where they get sucked into the computer. I didn't really like that one all that much, but I'm glad I have it. It's an interesting era in the development and whatnot. I did like the Zombie Island. I liked it when the monsters were real. Thought that was fine. Um, Daphne walking around in a Hillary Clinton pantsuit is a little weird. I'm glad they got out of that and went back to the classic styles. But yeah, I love collecting those movies. I don't bother watching any of the new stuff, that's for sure. But right up to Mystery Inc., I liked everything Scooby Doo. So good. I'm glad your brother's got good taste, and you do as well. Studio Super, thanks for the super chat. That I remember old YouTube in my young school days. I still remember after school always looking for new vids of "Hi, I'm a Marvel," and "Hi, I'm a DC." Oh, I love those videos. You're right. Just some guy. No, not just some guy. That's another YouTuber. Just some random guy, I think, or something like that. That was his name. But yeah, the characters. "Hi, I'm a Marvel. I'm a DC." And it was like narrating those old commercials. That was "I'm a Mac. I'm a PC." Yeah, those were hilarious. I remember watching those back in the day too. They were good. Yeah, and there are comedians who use YouTube and they do content creators who actually do professional content, and I love those. Matt Mitchell, I've had him on my channel before. The guy who used to be a part of that It's a Southern Thing, but now he does his own stuff. Sounded great right. Every time he's got a video drop, we love it. We don't understand what he's talking about with his football stuff, but luckily he does more than just that. Um, Charlie Barron's, Dude Dad. Yeah, there's a lot of great comedians out there who do a lot of good content still, but you don't even have to have the high production quality. As you mentioned, the guy that, "Hi, I'm a Marvel, I'm a DC," those guys are that guy was just, like, had his action figures in front of the webcam, and whatnot, and that was hilarious. You don't really need That's the great thing about YouTube is you don't need a huge production staff or anything to get your content out there, get your comments out there, or your, talent out there, rather. Oh, and Lister says Zombie Island is probably one of my most metal Scooby-Doo movies I've ever seen. It was good, I remember it. I don't think Sound Engraver is such a fan. She's more she kinda when it comes to Scooby-Doo, Sound Engraver is the biggest purist I've ever seen in my life. It's not, the original Scooby-Doo cartoon or maybe 1 or 2 of the ones done afterwards. She's like, "Hmm, no." But I liked it. Um Imagine if Hobbyist said, "This week's topic reminds me of Doug Walker. He had great success as the nostalgic critic." Oh, that guy, yeah, the nostalgic critic. But when he revived the character, he was just chasing the clicks, even reviewing new content. I did not know that. I did like the old nostalgia critic stuff he used to do, but I have heard things about him or whatever, or his channel or whatever. I haven't really followed him or know about that, but um, I think I watched him because he was friends with the Angry Video Game Nerd, or they had like a rivalry or whatever, but they were actually friends behind the scenes. But it was like a YouTube channel rivalry or whatever, done for laughs. Dr. Y for $5, thank you so much. Said trivia. Abracadabra Doo was the first movie to have Matthew Lillard voicing Shaggy. I remember having to adjust after decades of Casey Kasem. I did not know that was his first. I do really like Matthew Lillard as Shaggy. If you can't have Casey Kasem, and hey, the man, he just couldn't do it forever, right? No one lives forever. Um, I really like Matthew Lillard as a replacement, and he doesn't get the character anymore. They started giving it to other people, which is really crappy. But I did not know that was his first. Thanks for telling me that. Luis Sanchez says, "Hey, Prof, your mic keeps going in and out, or like the volumes keep going in or out." Thanks for letting me know that. It could be two things. One thing, it could be that I I'm talking kind of sideways on the mic. I don't think that's it. I think it's silly as it is. I think I keep putting my soda next to the mic cord. So thanks for letting me know that. I'll try to avoid that. You can let me know if it still keeps happening. But thanks for letting me know that. I appreciate it. I need to replace the mic cord. I've got this nice new mic that Sound Engraver gave me or let me use here. So and I've got the webcam so clear and figured out. I need to get a new cable there. Just a USB cord that's plugged in. I think it's got a little short end. Thanks for letting me know. Let's see. One listener says she wouldn't even watch a pup named Scooby-Doo. Maybe she'd watch a pup named Scooby-Doo. I don't know. She is like a Scooby-Doo purist. It is weird. Like, no, it's, it's funny. It's cute. But yeah, I like a pup named Scooby-Doo. I like the one, what was the name of the series that it was just was Scrappy with them at that point? The one where Vincent Price was sending them on missions. I like that one. It was just Shaggy and Daphne and Scooby, and there was like some random like Daphne's nephew or something like that. I can't remember if Scrappy was with them there or not on that one, but I don't know. Let's see. Checking the time here too. Oh, it's almost coming up to time, so won't be screaming for too much longer. But just wrapping things down here with you guys. Studio Super, thank you for the super chat. Said how it's just some random guy. Yeah, that's that guy. Never got hired by the pros to do some of the superhero stuff, specifically DC films, is also a big mystery. He knows the characters and does good stories with what he has. Yeah, I didn't follow everything he ever did, but man, he was so funny. And it was back there in the 2000s, when before Marvel Studios really even came about. But even after Marvel Studios started coming about, he was still doing the stuff. And yeah, it was good stuff. It was funny. Yeah, he should have gotten hired if he didn't. That was funny stuff. Oh, okay, you can hear me fine, Senegar says. Yeah, maybe it's new cable. Oh, Pup Named Scooby Doo was her childhood. Okay, so she did like Pup Named Scooby Doo. Okay, so she's that got a pass for her. Yeah, I think a lot of the movies she just didn't like though. I don't know. I don't know why. I like a lot of the comics. I've got a lot of them where they were doing team ups. I've got the Superman team up. I've got the of the Scooby-Doo team-ups I had. I hated, 100% hated when Dan DiDio decided to modernize all the Hanna-Barbera content for a brief time. The DC had the rights to them or whatever, and I forget what it was called, but it was basically like the Scooby-Doo gang in a post-apocalyptic, like Scooby-Doo's a cyborg. It was just so dumb. I hated everything about that. All of those Hanna-Barbera runs were straight up garbage except for Future Quest. Future Quest was perfection. Oh, so good. Future Quest was great because that took all of the leftover Hanna-Barbera properties that no one else had claimed and still it put them in the same universe, but still treated them with the same respect and treatment as the original cartoon. So you had Johnny Quest, Birdman, Space Ghost, uh, Galaxy Trio, Herculoids, all of those characters, and it was so great. It was Jeff Parker was the writer. Man, it was beautiful. So well done. Once that original arc was done, I've got all the original issues. I'd like to get the collected graphic novel too, but then they put out Future Quest Adventures, I think it was called, where they tried to tell future or like additional stories about each of the franchises here and there. They were a lot of fun too, but it was eventually canceled. The Dio was still in charge of DC, so nothing good can last. Um, let's see, The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest. Yeah, that's the one that they revamped the series or something like that in the '90s, right? If I'm thinking about that one wasn't so bad. If I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, Nathaniel Losball says maybe it's just some random guy who wasn't hired by these studios because he knew exactly what the characters are. Yeah, we don't want that. We want to make the character what we want them to be. Yeah, 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, that was good. Yeah, oh, and Lister, I've got that right here. I've got a couple different copies of it, but Scooby-Doo, yeah, Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. This is I've got a copy of it that's in a collection, but this is one little sort of Walmart special. Got some great special features on it too. I think Sound Engraver's given this one a nod of approval. I think she approves of this one. But yeah, great stuff. There's Shaggy as the werewolf. Basically, like they need a werewolf for the Halloween, crew or whatever, Dracula, the witch, the mummy, and everybody. So somehow Shaggy gets roped into doing it. He can win this race. He cannot be a werewolf anymore or something like that. It's a fun little movie. Also, it's got the character of his girlfriend. What's the name of his girlfriend in that? I forget her name, but she's a cool character. Shaggy with a girlfriend's kind of weird to think about, but it works. All right, guys. Like I said, winding on down here. A troll at 980 says Kevin Smith's still trying to do damage control. Oh yeah, he's only the dyed in the wool Kevin Smithites are ever gonna give him the time of day anymore. He's gone. His reputation's dead. If I'm glad that no one's even bothering talking about whatever next season of He-Man garbage he's putting out because he's over. He's over. I mean, he was textbook. He did everything you shouldn't do to fans. Lie to first of all, do a crap take on a beloved franchise. Strike one. Lie to them about it. Strike two. Smugly insist that he was right to lie to him about it. Strike three. Right there. And then even beyond that, he's just he taunted people. He's like, oh, no, we're safe. We love the fact that you don't like it. That's great for us. I mean, he just like talk about just crapping over everything that fans would want to come to you for, and he still thinks he's going to deserve any attention or content or that man goes down in history as one of the most boneheaded, idiotic creators, storytellers out there. Studio Super, thank you again for another super chat. You were generous tonight, sir. Appreciate it. Said, yeah, the head of Disney has stated that they don't hire fans. Oh, I didn't know this. They don't hire fans of the stuff. In fact, if you're a fan, you're the last to be considered hiring. That doesn't surprise me at all. Doesn't surprise me at all. Really doesn't. That's par for the course for Disney. I wish we could come up with a different name for Disney now because they don't deserve to be called Disney. And Disney is synonymous with evil. Let's just say it straight up. They're evil. They are predatory. They are evil. Disney's an evil company. And it pains me to say that, though, because Disney has been the opposite of that for so long. Walt Disney was such a great person to, the thing he created and the everything that Disney stood for, for so long. We need to come up with a different name for current day Disney, some sort of pithy name that we can call that to differentiate it from, the great Disney of the past that it'll never go back to being again. Oh, Dismal Disney, that's what Clownfish TV calls them. Yeah, that's a good start. A little too many syllables, Dismal Disney. But, yeah, that's a good start, I think. It's a nod in the right direction. Andre, I don't know what the Ultra Instinct Shaggy meme is. I must have missed that. Is that some part of current culture that I missed? Must have missed that one. Studio Super says, and it's this mentality of not hiring fans and respecting source material is how we got a Superman who was an illegitimate father and Superman Returns. Yeah, yeah. Um, Superman Returns, I defend that movie against a lot of the backlash it gets, but it was a horrible, horrible Superman story. You don't do that to a Superman story. It was a good movie, which you can't say for Man of Steel, divorced of it being a bad Superman movie. But yeah, and it gave us the wonderful Brendan Routh portrayal of Superman, which was wonderful. But you don't do those things that movie did to Superman. You just don't. It's not a Superman story. Dino, Disney in name only. I like that, Dr. Y. If that could catch on, yeah. Devil Mouse, Eldritch fan says. No, that's funny. Although I don't like the idea of Mickey Mouse getting dragged into it. But yeah, I think you're on the right track there. The devil, they are evil, man. They're evil. All right. Well, we are gonna wrap this on up here. Just read another comment or two. Spidey Rules says a YouTuber named I missed it here. A YouTuber named Egan Tillman animated a Scooby-Doo cartoon called Springtrapped in the style of Rankin Bass. Oh, interesting. He used AI for the voices, but the animation was done by hand. I'd be kind of curious to see what that looks like. That's interesting. Thanks for letting me know about that. Isaiah Smith, I don't think I've ever seen you super chat, but thanks for the super chat there. Said, hi, Professor. Love the channel and the videos. I have a good media recommend for you. Legend of the Galactic Heroes. It's a classic anime with a timeless quality and a good reflections on governance. When you said Legends of Galactic Heroes, at first I thought the old comedy series, the old variety show. What was it called? Legends of the Heroes or whatever. The old 70s one. I think it was William Shallert and Adam West as Batman and everybody came. I forget what it was called. But yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about. I've never heard of Legends of Galactic Heroes, classic anime with timeless quality. Interesting. Thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that. And thanks for the kind words about the channel. I'll look Legends of Galactic Heroes up at some point. All right. So gonna go ahead and put a bow on it there, folks, because we're at my hour limit for streaming. Interesting comment though. Imagine a hobbyist says, "Do you think Steven Spielberg directed Superman movie would have been like if he had gotten the job instead of Donner?" One thing is for sure, Williams would still do the music. That's true. I mean, you could certainly think of worse replacements if you couldn't get Donner to do that original movie. I don't know. It's fun to think about. I haven't really given it a lot of thought, but interesting to think about. Yeah. All right. One last thing. It says read. A Disney. Louis Sanchez said Disney a Disney. That's good. That's got some a Disney like abysmal Disney. I like that. Maybe that'll take on a Disney. That's good. All right, some endorsements for Legends of Galactic Heroes. I'll look it up later tonight and see what it looks like. All right, folks. Well, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Very much appreciate it. Always good to hang out with you guys. Our once a week office hour stream here. Be back next week, of course. And hopefully, if all things go well, this week we'll see the drop of the first episode of the Iconic Cast podcast. I'd like to do that. I'm going to record it this week. We've got some really cool things to talk about. And it'll still be just a YouTube video here for you guys as far as you're concerned who watch me on YouTube. It'll just be another YouTube video, but a little bit different with some produced music and stuff like that and breaks and whatnot. But I'm going to put it out on podcast platforms as well. And it'll be something with a different focus. It'll be talking about, the great stories, the media and everything before. It's not really going to be commenting so much on like the current state of like Disney or something like that so much. Just a different avenue for some content there. Thanks for hanging out. Until next time, sorry. Sound Engraver is streaming tomorrow. I don't know if she's decided on her time yet. She might push it a little later. But yeah, she's streaming tomorrow as usual. So you can check her out. She's got a really cool idea there. So yeah, next week at the same prof time, same prof channel. Thanks for hanging out. And until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the true blue stories that you love. Thanks for watching.